Hello, I am anonymous, but I can be you.
Hello, I am anonymous, but I can be someone you know.
Hello, I am anonymous, but I am aware anyone can be victim of domestic violence, regardless of race, age, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or economic status.
Hello, I'm anonymous, but nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States.
Hello, I am anonymous, and this is my survivor story.
In February to March of 2005, I was in a shelter for domestic violence. Domestic violence is best prevented, but if you are not killed, it can be survived. I survived by the grace of God, who sent the right police officer to my house that night to get me through the shelter process, and held on to me on nights I cried myself to sleep, ready to give up on life, afraid to start over. Legal aid helped me through the divorce. I have not seen my ex since the night the police took him away.
A police officer gave me a booklet with the names and numbers for various shelters. The woman answering the call line for the shelter I called said, "Get the hell out of Dodge." The next day, I was in a shelter. Target would donate gifts each week to my shelter, household items to help you get on your feet. There were daily counseling sessions in my shelter and group sessions. We were required to watch 2 movies, Enough with Jennifer Lopez and Waiting to Exhale with Whitney Houston.
Those of us in the shelter varied in age, social status, level of education, nationality, color, marital status, and some had children. English was not the only language spoken. During one group meeting, we discovered we had something in common. We were in the shelter because of love, or rather, what we had mistaken for love. Most of us had left or thought about leaving the abuser before. Why did we stay? Why did we go back?
Well, besides I love him, I thought he would change. He promised he would. The kids need him. I need him. I had nowhere to go. I have no family or friends. Be assured, the abuser wants to isolate you. That is part of his power. I do not want to be alone. He needs me. I don't know. I am afraid to leave.
Why me? By the time I told my mother how bad things really were, she wanted me to leave. But I responded, "Just pray, Mama." Knew I was in trouble, but I wanted to save my credit, save enough money to make it after I left. You see, he spent his money on booze, girlfriends, whatever else he was into, which made me the one who paid the bills.
I did not tell my dad or my brothers that anything was wrong because I was afraid they would go to jail for hurting my ex or for knocking him out. I couldn't risk that. My dad, when he realized something was wrong, he went with me to my apartment complex office to help explain why I needed out of my lease. The manager denied my request. I want to let everyone know that it is illegal in the state of Texas to be held to a lease in domestic violence cases.
Why did I call the police? I had called the police before and been told to go back in the house. Domestic issues were not their business. The abuse, physical, mental, and emotional, had been going on for years. It got so bad, I had even divorced him before. He went into rehab, got baptized, and I remarried him because I didn't believe in divorce. But things were actually worse the second time. We separated again. He asked for one more chance. There was a job in Texas, and life would be good. I had family in Texas. I thought, okay, surely everything would be good now. Fresh start. Seeing a pattern here?
Why did I call the police? This day in particular, I was more afraid than I had ever been. All that day I had a sense of dread, more than usual. Spent the day on the balcony in the February cold with the cat and the dog. I have no explanation why, after being threatened with being shot again, I went to the balcony instead of the police. While I was on the balcony, my ex even threw a can of Lysol against the window so hard it shook. Heaven only knows why I did not break. I was terrified, and so were the animals.
When I realized he had finally left, I went into the bedroom and pushed the dresser against the door. He came home and beat on the bedroom door, yelling for me to open it. I was silent and did not move. He got the door open, pushing the dresser aside, yelling the entire time he came over to the bed. hit me, and walked out.
Thank God for mobile phones and that I had the presence of mind to call the police. I put on my coat, grabbed my keys, and went downstairs away from the apartment building and waited for the police outside on a step by an entryway curb. Waited outside in the cold again. Late at night. Eventually, 2 patrol cars came. While one of the officers was speaking with me, my ex showed up. Well-dressed, cologne, smiling, and began to speak with the officer. "Can I talk to you away from her?" The officer said he could, and they walked together towards the other officer. I began to cry inside because I just knew they were going to send us back upstairs together. Why would the police believe me, looking unsettled and tense, instead of this smiling man who was trying to look like he had just modeled for GQ magazine?
Whatever my ex said to the police officers, I never saw him again. The officer who had been speaking to me came back to tell me they were taking him to jail. He then gave me a booklet full of domestic violence resources. He told me to look in the book and suggested I call one of the shelters. We spoke a little bit more, and the officers drove off. I never saw my ex again. After being in the shelter, TXU does not charge deposits for electric service. When Women in Need in Greenville also helped me. The journey from being in a shelter to getting back to your feet is a struggle. It is literally a journey of survival.
My car died, and I have never had enough money to buy a new one. But I have 2 feet and live in a small town where I can walk to most places. People give me rides. Although I still struggle with self-worth, my self-esteem has increased. I graduated from A&M Commerce in 2017, and now I am an administrative coordinator for this university. I'm still paying off debts, or I would buy a car. But life is good. The abuser did not win. I have begun to thrive. There is hope.
There is hope. Love should not hurt.
There is hope. Love should not hurt.
Hay esperanza. El amor no debe de doler.
There's hope. Love should not hurt.
There is hope. Love should not hurt.
There is hope. Love should not hurt.